The sun-baked streets of Desert Willow Estates baked under the Arizona sky like a postcard someone had ironed flat, every lawn edged with military precision, every house painted the exact shade of Tuscan beige, approved by covenant, and every mailbox standing at attention. But the real law here wasn't the county sheriff. It was Karen Whitaker, president for life of the Desert Willow Homeowners Association, a woman who could spot a dandelion at 50 paces and fine you before the sun set. She patrolled the sidewalks every evening in her beige power suit, clipboard in hand, lips pursed tighter than a cheap pair of Spanx. Section 7.3 clearly states, she'd drone in that nasal Arizona twang, no visible toys after dusk. That's a $250 violation, Mr. Ramirez. I'm only thinking of property values. Mr. Ramirez, a tired single dad whose kid left a bike out once, had already paid 3 fines that month. Karen smiled like a shark who'd just tasted blood. Because in her world, control wasn't a dirty word. It was scripture. One golden October dusk, her gaze snagged on the old wooden shed at the far edge of the community, a leftover from before the developers paved paradise. Paint peeling, door sagging, it screamed eyesore in bright neon. Whispers had floated around for years, strange humming at night, flickering blue lights, that one teen who swore he saw men in black suits vanish inside. Karen snorted. Idle gossip from people who can't read the covenants, she muttered. To her, it was simply a violation of Article 12. All structures must present a uniform, pleasing appearance. And Karen Whitaker was about to make it pleasing. She spent 3 nights researching. Translation: watching YouTube lock-picking tutorials on her HOA laptop while sipping Chardonnay, then digging through the association archives she herself controlled. By the 4th night she had a plan, a crowbar from her garage, black yoga pants that still somehow looked judgmental, and the unshakable belief that rules were for other people. Midnight. The desert air carried the faint scent of creosote and entitlement. Karen crept past the security cameras she had demanded the board install last year. For the safety of our community, she'd said, pocketing the $18,000 invoice without blinking. The shed loomed ahead like a middle finger to her perfect kingdom. One sharp crack of the crowbar, and the rusty padlock gave up without a fight. Inside, the beam of her heavy-duty flashlight danced across something that definitely wasn't garden tools. Rows of sleek black servers hummed softly. Flat-screen monitors glowed with live feeds of every street in Desert Willow Estates. High-tech antennas. FBI crests stamped on metal cases. Karen's mouth fell open, then slowly curved into a greedy little smile. Well, well, she whispered, voice dripping honey and larceny. Finders keepers. She set the crowbar down and started unplugging cables like a Black Friday shopper on a mission. This could fund my next term. Or maybe a little consulting gig, Security Solutions by Karen. The neighbors would finally respect me. She pictured herself at the next board meeting, waving a fat check, announcing new, stricter rules. The fantasy felt so real she didn't hear the soft click of the motion sensor. Then the world exploded in red strobes, and a siren that could wake the dead in Tucson. Federal agents. Hands where we can see them. Karen spun, server tower clutched to her chest like a designer handbag. Black SUVs ringed the shed. Tactical vests. Glocks. And right above the door, the little red light of the very camera she had installed 6 months earlier to catch unauthorized backyard grills. I'm the president of the Desert Willow HOA, she shrieked, voice cracking like cheap drywall. This property is within our jurisdiction. Section 4.2 gives me authority to maintain. Ma'am, the lead agent cut in, voice flat as the desert floor. You're on federal land, tampering with a classified surveillance node. Put the server down. Slowly. Karen's face went the color of her power suit. You can't arrest me. I pay your salary with my property taxes. The agent actually chuckled. Lady, your taxes don't cover grand theft of government equipment. Handcuffs clicked around her wrists, cold, unforgiving, and far more final than any $500 fine she'd ever issued. Neighbors poured out in bathrobes and flip-flops, phones up, recording. Mr. Ramirez stood front and center, arms crossed, grinning like Christmas came early. Guess the rules apply to everyone after all, Karen. Courtroom 4B, Maricopa County Federal Courthouse, 3 weeks later. Karen sat in an orange jumpsuit that clashed horribly with her remaining dignity. Her court-appointed lawyer looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. The prosecutor, a sharp woman named Reyes, played the security footage on the big screen. Karen in all her black-clad glory, crowbar swinging, then greedily yanking cables while muttering about my community. "Your Honor," Karen's lawyer tried, "my client believed she was performing a civic duty." Reyes cut him off with a single raised eyebrow. "Ms. Whitaker has issued 187 fines in the last 18 months for violations ranging from inappropriate holiday lighting to excessive holiday spirit. Yet she claims she didn't notice the giant FBI seals? The same woman who installed these cameras herself, cameras that caught her red-handed. The judge didn't even pretend to deliberate long. 5 years, federal penitentiary. Restitution for damaged equipment. And Ms. Whitaker, the court recommends you spend some of that time reflecting on the difference between rules and power." The gavel cracked like a starter pistol on her old life. Back in Desert Willow Estates, the new HOA president, mild-mannered retired teacher Mrs. Alvarez, called the first meeting without a single fine on the agenda. Lawn stayed green. Kids left bikes out. Nobody missed Karen's clipboard. In a beige-walled cell in Phoenix, Karen stared at the ceiling, replaying that night on loop. Sometimes, in the quiet hours, she remembered fragments. A man in a dark suit years ago offering her the HOA presidency, to keep an eye on things. A non-disclosure agreement. A promise of importance. She shook her head. Just stress. Just imagination. Or maybe not. So here's the question that keeps the internet fighting at 2 a.m. Was Karen Whitaker a power-hungry HOA tyrant who finally got exactly what she deserved when she tried to steal from the feds? Or was she just another cog in a much bigger machine that used her love of control to watch an entire neighborhood, until the machine decided she'd become the liability? Rules for thee, but not for me until the feds show up. Who really abused the power in Desert Willow? Karen, or the system that let her run wild until she crossed the wrong line? Drop your verdict below. And remember, the next time your HOA sends a nasty letter about your garden gnomes, maybe just smile. Because somewhere out there, a shed is waiting. And karma's got perfect timing.